Hi, Jeff from Wisconsin Woodworking. I'm bringing you today. I'm still working on all the equipment, trying to get them into shape before they're used. And this is a great time to go through all your equipment and find out if there's any issues. Clean them up, get them all, perfect so that they're ready to go before, the shop is done. So, actually, I took the cover off of the gear side here, and it was held by a one Allen wrench bolt. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's dripping oil from the gasket that separates your gear or your chain drive to your gears inside. That is where you can change your speed. And I'm actually working on, this is the G1021 thickness 15-inch planer. So what I found so far by taking the cover off is the chain tensioner here. This tensioner, the spring broke off and is no longer visible anywhere, so it must have fell out of the bottom of the case. And I believe they have this opening here, I would think, so in case something breaks, it can fall through and not jam up anything. So that's the first thing I found wrong. The second thing I found is that the bearing in here is awful loose, and the surface here is worn down, if I can get it back in there, to keep the chain at its full tension. So that way it doesn't have the slop and it can actually drive at its full maximum capacity. The other thing is this one does not have a tensioner, but I found that the chain is beyond the maximum tension that they give for tolerances. So I ordered new tensioner arm with the wheel and bearing. I ordered new springs, a new chain, and a new gasket. And what we're going to do today is we're going to drain the oil. We are going to take all this apart. We're going to pull the case apart so that we can clean it all up and then put a new gasket on it. And then part two, because I just ordered the parts, part two will be the reassembly of this. So the first thing we want to do is unscrew the knob. Get this off. So that what happens is when you break the seal, it slides off the shaft. The shaft, if you look in your manual, if you still have it, it shows that it's bolted from the other side, so this should slide over. The second thing we want to do now that we took that off, just to get out of the way, is to crack the oil release nut, and that's on this side on the bottom. The refill for your 75W90 oil will go in on this side, and when it hits the top here where it starts to leak out, then it's full. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to crack this loose and drain the oil. Now they say that you're supposed to change your oil depending on the use once a year for light use and every month on heavy use. And this is a very thick oil, but as you can see, it's pretty much empty because it's been leaking out and over time. But it's very thick because it's cold. I don't even know what the temperature is. It's probably in the 40s in here. So I'd like to just try to let that sit there. And then, it's always good to have your tools kind of set up. I got some pliers, channel locks, different types of pry bars, screwdrivers, hammer, and then the toolkit is sitting on the side here. And it's good to kind of pre-lay out your stuff. That way you can just, not looking for your stuff. And then have your rag so you can just wipe up your parts right away. Kind of keep them all together so you don't lose them. The oil's still coming out, but if you really look in here, it's really thick and it's just hardly coming out because it's that thick. I think too, when we break the case, a lot more is going to come out. So my next step now is I've got the hammer and screwdrivers here. I have that 10mm wrench right here. So we're going to break all these nuts loose, and it's good to have, if we can find a place to put it in here. We gotta find a place so that it don't come down. Just to be able to break that nut loose. If I can find a place. That's the problem, finding a place so you can break it loose. Oh, let's see here. Somehow. I don't know. I don't want to damage anything, but I'm just trying to get some pressure on here somehow. You know, maybe we can break these loose. Okay, that one's loose. Maybe we can get these two uppers off and then I can just work on the bottom one. Now, maybe what we could do is try to, really like to somehow not get this one to turn. I wonder, let's see here. What am I looking for? That pry bar bolt. I'm just wondering if somehow I just jam something in here. There we go. I knew it was good. It's stuck somewhere. They're not that tight. You just got to get in here to somewhat figure out a way of doing it. Then the problem is we got to get the gears off of the shafts, and I'm hoping by a little wiggling of the behind, oh yeah, see, they should just hopefully slide off. Yep. So the biggest thing is to always keep everything together so you don't lose it all. Just set it down somewhere. Okay, so now if we just clean up our part a little bit. Oh, it looks like our seal's leaking too. So, I guess I'm going to have to order a new seal, which I didn't realize. Yeah, the seal's leaking, so that's going to be another part that I'm going to have to order. It's leaking right out of there. So now we got to find an Allen wrench to fit these. This one's too big. This should be the one here, I would assume. And it's not. So, back to the Allen wrench bags. Just gotta find the right one. These are usually all the Allen wrenches that come with your equipment that I just throw in a bag. Nope. Boy. Nope, none of them. That's too small. Matter of fact, these all look the same size. I had that other Allen wrench bag find an Allen wrench for that. All right, I'll be back with you guys shortly.